Missed that.
Very kind. I'm officially 59 years old today. I kind of feel like at times, but no, I appreciate that. I'm 43 today. My beautiful wife turned 40, and despite her best wishes, I am not honoring her request to not celebrate her 40th birthday. So we are both groundhogs, and for sure we did see our shadows this morning. So unfortunately, we got 6 more weeks of winter.
Right.
But I appreciate every single text, every single thoughtful gift that got sent to the office, or the messages in the comments. Just thank you, everybody, for the love. And I'll continue to say this, guys, and I'll try to do it without getting emotional before I start reading the leaderboards. But I get to wake up every day and live a life of my dreams, and live a life of gratitude and a life of service to all of the agents here at Quility, because of what each and every one of you do on a daily basis. And for that, I can never be more grateful and thankful. And you will never know just how much that changed my family's life. So with all that said, thank you guys very much, each and every one of you. So looking forward to the national call today. B-Dubs, how about we alternate? I'll take a screen, you take a screen?
Let's go. I like playing ping pong with you.
Let's do it. We'll start off with the top 10 riders. Coming in at number 3, Rachel Shaheen with 5,413 APV. Matthew Davis, 7,500. Holy Toledo.
Batman.
Josh Wiles, first week new rider, 22,311 in APV.
That's how you come in, wow style right there.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wow style.
Natural. Perfect. In the total month of January, Rusting Harrington, let me slide over my little view here, coming in at 12,094. Javier de la Abalon, 14,340. I think I have an idea who might be number 1.
Wow style.
Wow style. I like that. I like that. Mr. B-Dub.
Absolutely. Top 10 producers. Look at that list where it's starting. Number 3 coming in is Josh Wildstyle. Number 2, Andre Nero, and number 1, Angel Garner with 62,000 Jiminy Crickets. $379 on the month. Sean Hogue at 54,724. Andre Nero 67,893, and numero uno, Angel Garner with 87,747. Outstanding.
B-Dubs, I don't want to jinx you, buddy, but you are off to a fast start on the nicknames.
Yeah,
you might be replacing Brandon Nelson here pretty soon.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery, so he'll appreciate that.
Top 10 producers on the app count. Number 3, Shannon Turner with 18. Number 2, Angel Garner with 20. And coming in at number 1, Queen McLean.
Lightning Queen McLean.
You talk about a badass name right there.
You
just wake up in the morning with Queen McLean and you already dominate half the day.
Yes.
Done. Coming in at number 3 for the total month of January, Nicholas Redmond. Number 2, LaTanya James, our good buddy. Number 1, there he is, Mr. Elliot Freer with 47 apps.
All right, top med sup producers, Emily Livo, 2445, James Johnson, 3K, and James Purley at 10K. That's probably the biggest. Is that one of the bigger med sup numbers we've seen at the top of that? Seems like it.
I've seen a 10,000. I haven't seen a 10,000 in a couple of months, that's for sure.
Great job, James.
Well done, James. Top 5 disability income producers. Stay tuned, all of those out there that are interested in this category and some of the products that serve our clients. Good news to come in 2022. Number 3 for the week, Javier Vasquez, $770. David Delaney, $1,067, and not related, I don't think, to Brian Delaney. Number 1, Jennifer Olson. Number 3, Cindy Hernandez. Number 2, from the First Family of Insurance, Tracy Young. And number 1, Omar Diaz.
All right, top 5 IUL. Number 3, Mason Van Meter. Number 2, Manuel Betancourt. And number 1, Ruben Garcia at 92,880. And for the month, Mark Newbauer. What's up, Mark? 20K. Manuel Betancourt and Ruben Garcia at 94K.
I've been chatting a little bit with Mark Newbauer over there, B-Dubs, and he is on to some exciting growth, some exciting opportunity going on in his team. We just heard from several of those folks on the builders call, but Mark personally in production is looking to do some really cool things here in the next coming months. So
yeah, that guy's a leader worth following. He's a winsome Just amazing guy. Really enjoyed talking with him.
Absolutely. Top 5 annuity producers coming in at number 3, William Wong Jr., Daniel Armstrong, and number 1, Devon Fleming at $360,000 on face amount for annuities. Awesome job. Coming in for the month, Daniel Armstrong, number 3, number 2, Devon Fleming, and number 1, Michael Whitaker. Attaboy, Michael. Well done.
All right, DFL, channel your inner resume here. Ward Brooks, 4,800. Robert Sterling, 7,596. And Scott, the man forehand at 77.17 for the month. Scott Peterson at 13. Betsy Barr at 16. And Theo Pritchett in the house, 26,655. That's great.
Betsy Barr, Theo Pritchett, Scott Forehand, all these folks on this leaderboard, prolific writers week in, week out. Congratulations to those guys. Top recruits in the base shop. We've got Derek Brock coming in at number 1 and tied for 2nd. Ian Graham and my buddy right down the street, Mr. Ben Sefipor. Congratulations to all of you.
Just had their biggest week ever, Sefipor Agency. So
$100,000. They broke the $100,000 in a week mark. Huge things going on in the Sefipor Agency. Congratulations to you, buddy. Number 1, Jacob Pogue for direct recruits. Number 2, John Ziller. My buddy sent me a cookie cake back there. Can't wait to dig in. Thank you. Except, B-Dubs, the cookie cake said, "Go Dogs." But don't worry, I just chopped that piece off and threw it in the trash, so we're good. Number 3 is Scott Mank for licensed recruits.
We got Griff Martini at 5, Ben Safeport at 4, Ashley Tarr at 3. Man, these are just some intentional. I was looking at Ian Graham on the other one. Intentional leaders that we need to continue to pull out these processes. Really excited to do that next end of this month. Roll out some of that info. Top direct license recruits: Marshall Whalen with 10, Brian Delaney at 11, and Pogue at 12. Must be tired of being that number 1 spot.
New writers, week to date. This is an important one. Ashley Tarr, absolutely on fire. Ashley is definitely leading by example over there, doing so many great things. And coming in at number 2, Mr. John Ziller. There he is again. Number 3, Ian Graham. I agree with you, B-Dubs. I've had an opportunity over the last 6 months to hear Ian Graham or share a meal with him, or to at least hear him on a call and a training call. The guy's doing phenomenal things, and so excited to see what he does in 2022. So much opportunity there, and huge shout out to, we keep seeing Ashley Tarr. I want to make sure that we're taking time too to see the work that Tyler has done in that organization, and just how committed he's come in to be a huge asset to this entire organization. So we appreciate you, Tyler. Number 1 there, Mr. Jacob Pogue. SNAs.
Oh, the SNAs. 111 with Ashley and Tyler, Jordan and Jared, Jeffrey Miller, and 18 other agency owners. How do we pick spotlighting Jeff and over the 18? I mean, it was good. He was on the previous call. I'm just wondering if there is an algorithm that
he sent me a nice birthday card.
And top direct SNAs, Ashley Tyler and Tyler Harris. Ashley and Tyler. Either way you go. It's nice to see Jacob Pogue at 2nd. That'll give him some fire for next week. Miranda Martin, Chris Cook, Kashawn Monteith, and 10 directs at 1.
Very nice work. Season new agents this week. Look out. Break them out. If you do not know what a season new agent is, a season new agent with us means that you've started your journey here at Symmetry and you've gotten 6 apps in your first 6 weeks. And statistically saying, looking at the Palmer mathematics, guys, it's over a 70% chance that you are still going to be with us and running a profitable agency in a year's time if you reach this SNA destination. So congratulations to all of those individuals. I'll run through them right quick, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name, but Andrew Felix, Anthony Ott, Armando Grillo, Ashley Morales, Ashley Estranda, Cameron Miller, Ella Rice, Jacob McCandless, Jessica Butler, Julie Doris, Karen Allen, Kevin Walder, Kimberly Nicole, Knuckle, close. Kenyana Thomas, Lisa Reiner, Macy Semis, Megan Zimmerman, Shirley Jean-Paul, Tamara Nunley, Teresa Kelly, and Wendy Terrell. Thank you so much to all of our SNAs and especially to their uplines to see the significance of making sure these individuals cross that ever important finish line. That I think, B-Dubs, you might be talking about that a little bit over the next couple of days while we're filming for the upcoming virtual conference, right?
What's that?
Talking
SNA?
about a little bit of the journey that we go on and the significance of each step and each
Absolutely.
monument we cross.
We will absolutely be talking about that, and excited to do so. 21 SNAs on that last slide. That's got to be I don't know if it's a high, but it's a lot of SNAs in a week. Love it.
Records.
We're being very efficient, Todd. I appreciate this. You're channeling your inner pioneer, and this is going well. You know, you're not pulling all the names, but yet you're being very celebratory at parts. I like that. I might have to channel my inner Spivey and slow down here, but nevertheless, let's look at these leaderboards for top key leaders. James Slingo, number 3, Chris Leak, number 2 at 23, and Karen Earhart, outstanding. Then we got John Bryant, Karen Earhart, and Chris Leak for the month. Outstanding.
Nicely done. Agency owners, John Clayton Jr., number 3, JPV coming in at number 2, and Paul Bine at number 1, $58,000. Go ahead, Paul. Well done. See you, Ruth. See you, Carlton. Great job, guys. Here, agency owner for the month. My buddy over there, Jamie, I call her Saucy, coming in at number 5. Samuel Fine at number 4. Mr. Paul again at number 3. JPV number 2. And Jeffrey Miller coming in at number 1. I'd say Jeffrey Miller is on fire. B-Dubs, I guess that's why he made the top 3 list over there just a minute ago.
Yes,
Jeff
thank
is
you
doing
for
some amazing things.
Thank you for the public rebuke and shaming. I'll take it. Top agency directors, Dana Ellis, great job. Ben Safapor and Larry and Ann Griffin. Man, that whole row, I mean, just cooking with gas there. Mark Newbauer, Larry and Ann, and for the month, coming in at number 1. Drum roll, please. Mr. Puckett, just out of the blue. Boom.
Puckett.
Love it. 1.4.
His team might have not finished in the top 25 in football, but that's not going to stop him from not finishing first for the month in the leaderboards. Well done, Mr. Puckett. Regional agency director on a weekly basis, Christopher Manafee, Tim Henso, Jim and Jessica Russman, Trey Alderson-Cloutier, Eileen Balmer. You've never got to spend an evening hanging out with Miss Eileen Balmer. What a fun treat.
Absolutely.
Sweet individual. For the month, we got Chris Menifee, my buddy Griff Martin. Got to hang out with him last Friday for a short little celebration. So good to see my buddy and his adorable 2-year-old son who had just turned 2. So Jim and Jessica Russman coming in number 3, Trey Alderson-Cloutier, number 2, and Eileen Balmer there at number 1.
MVPs, Scott Summers and Melissa Weigel and George and Janet Matthews in the house, 164. Great tight little race there on that top line. For the month, we have Melissa Weigel, George and Janet, and Mr. Cook once again. Super.
Cook Agency on fire, buddy. Top senior vice presidents, Eric Sisley Newsom, Scott Mink, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jimmy Spilldinner, Nate Alford, see you, buddy. Well done. Kyle and Lisa Cambrell. Hosting another, it looks like a fabulous event. At some point, maybe I will get an invite to come out and see this beautiful new home. But so far, no Spivey invite. Just kidding. Congratulations, you, Kyle and Lisa. So proud of you guys and the team and the growth there. For the month, Mr. Scott Mank, Mike and Jennifer Colburn, Mr. Jimmy Spilldinner, Nate Alford, and once again, Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell. Good Lord. They're getting close to $1 million a month. Well done.
All right, for the week, executive vice presidents, I'll go all the way back and follow your example. We got Darren Stubbs, Miranda Martin, Carl Miller. How's that going? Carl Miller and Sean Shannon eking it out over Mr. Miller. And for the month, Darren Stubbs, Miranda Martin, Sean Shannon, and Carl Miller. Look at that.
Well done. Associate partners, Keyshawn Monteith, Ashley and Tyler, Ryan and Michelle Miller, Jacob Pogue, number one, good buddy, Lynn Watkins. Good to see you up there, Lynn. For the month, Keyshawn, Ryan and Michelle, Ashley and Tyler, Jacob Pogue. And once again, coming in at number one for the month, almost $2.8 million, Mr. Lynn Watkins. Well done.
Top directs, George and Janet, Brian Delaney, Kashawn Monteith, Sean Shannon, and Jacob Pogue. Teach me how to pogie. Teach me how to pogie. Brian Delaney, Kevin Purdy, Edward Pritchett, Chris Cook. And for the month, teach me how to pogie. Teach me how to pogie.
I would try to attempt that dance, but that would be embarrassing for me.
I think no less.
Ace shops, guys, this is an important one. Not only are you going to see some of the up and coming leaders, but you're going to see some familiar faces. And why is that important? Because the key is always to be funneling recruits and building your base shop and building the next generation of leaders. And these individuals are doing just that. The Wild Man, my buddy, Mr. John Ziller, Andrew the Hammy, Nate Offord, Marty the Lord, and coming in at number one, Edward Pritchett. Guys, that's no mistake. The guy runs on any given week, the number one or number two largest organization in the entire company. He is also continually building one of the largest base shops. And guess what? On any given week, he might submit $20,000 in personal production. The guy leads by examples, and we can never be more grateful for you, Mr. Pritchett. Thank you for all you do. You and Mr. Marshall leading the way week after week. So coming in at number 5, Jeremy Whitaker. Number 4, Mike and Jennifer Colburn. Number 3, Derek Brock. Number 2, Marty Valor. There he is again, Mr. Edward Pritchett.
All right. The Champions Cup. The race is on. Spivey, I think I want you to do this one because I think you just have that Champions Cup mojo. I mean, this is getting exciting because we're continuing to, get closer and closer.
I don't know if I'm going to buy that, B-Dubs. That's a heck of a sales pitch. But I have some pretty rough memories of the Champions Cup leaderboard based on butchering a couple of names that I've had to write handwritten apologies to many people.
Number 4.
No, we're all good, guys. So this is going to be based on submit numbers. We all know that this contest comes down to issue paid, but so that we can keep the right activities in front of everybody. Number 4, we've got Jesse Bachrock.
Yeah, you did it.
Now my mouse stopped.
You did it. Your mouse stopped.
Number 3, Andrew Nero. Number 2, Angel Garner. Number 1, Ruben Garcia. Way to go, Ruben.
What's next? Corporate? I'll do corporate. Is that next or is it top direct? I'll do directs.
Oh,
we got
you
Sean
please
Shannon
take the ones that we know so well and talk to every day. That'd be great.
Let me do the directs. Sean Shannon, George and Janet Matthews. Gosh, I was looking at that differential there. All right. Christopher Cook, Jacob Pogue, and Kevin Purdy by quite a margin.
Purdy organization on it. Corporate producers, number 6, David Alvarado. Number 5, Lynette Upchurch. Number 4, Miss Alicia Hudson. Number 3, Lauren Michael. Number 2, Jake Van Dusen. Great job. And number 1, Joshua Quillen. Great job to our corporate producers. Appreciate the partnership over there so much and all that they do. Guys over here on field sales really can't even begin to describe the amount of effort our corporate producers put into supporting the overall growth of Quility and all the many programs that we have coming up, their expertise that they lend us. Just so grateful for them. So definitely want to give them a special shout out. B-Dubs, announcements? Announcements.
Lead type. You ever go to camp growing up? I mean, that was a very campy thing. Lead type fact sheets can now be more easily found via the new leads drop down within the left-hand navigation of HQ. Gosh, dive into these. These are very, very intensively developed. You need to understand these. By the way, just for those of you starting out, when you see lead fact sheets, and if you're going on those and you don't understand something, go ahead and just ask. Ask your upline, your mentor. There's a big part of a growth curve here that it just involves we hit walls and we don't really know certain things, and it's no worries to be able to pick up on those things and learn. So these are really exciting assets, along the lines of transparency and expected return on investment, and just a great training ground for you to learn more about the business if you're new. So great
Yeah,
work.
this is a great little tweak, guys. The kind of things that your feedback continually provides us. Mark Palmer started this call off with talking about being transparent with our leads and the type of production that should be resulting everybody out there. And so for those of you that joined us a few weeks back, you'll know that unlike any other company, we put transparent information out there on exactly the overall company average of the type of production that's generated from our leads, what you should be expecting as an agent when you purchase these leads. And it's also a great barometer, guys. If you're new and you're not getting the type of results that these lead sheets say that you should, get with your upline, get with a mentor, and make those small tweaks to improve your ability to protect clients out there in the field. We heard you loud and clear. A lot of people couldn't find these lead sheets. So we've created a much more easy, accessible drop-down box that you can find right on HQ. Make sure you check that out, print it out, and know the type of resources that you have available to you. So looking at this, we have coming up for our upcoming training opportunities. Next Thursday, February 3rd, that'd be tomorrow. Not next Thursday, that's tomorrow. We're going to have Mutual of Omaha on Term Life Express, IUL Express, Guaranteed Advantage announcements. And guys, they've got some important updates. You're going to want to tune in. They are adding some extra value for the clients at no more cost. And Mutual of Omaha is going to be covering that tomorrow on the carrier webinar. So make sure you tune in. February 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern, you'll have the Monday sales training hosted this week by the Newbauer Agency. And then Tuesday, February 8th at 11 o'clock, of course, you'll have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mike Resma, going over the advanced market solutions with debt-free living. Congratulations.
All right. This one's, look at that. You just placed it.
We nailed it.
You just teed it right up.
We played any, mini, money, mo like nobody's business.
Caught the B-dubs by the toe. Okay, so our coaching initiative here is getting a lot of momentum and a lot of great feedback. And quite honestly, we're like literally this week, I have a meeting with Business Intelligence. We're going to be working on producing coaching fact sheets, which can help you understand the results and ROI of investing in our different coaching initiatives, which we're only getting better at strategically placing these coaching cohorts. And a cohort is simply a group of people versus an individual coaching arrangement. We still do individual coaching. It's actually very minimal compared to what we used to do. Now we're doing more group coaching and cohort coaching for many reasons. And so, of course, one of the ones that you've heard a lot about is Justin Finney, who's our lead Activate Phase coach. Activate Phase, just to keep this language in front of you, goes from when you're a brand new agent through your team leader promotion. So we're positioning expert coaches at each of our 4 phases of our proven process. And we're just, again, getting better and better at how we align all of the coaching content and experiences to what does it really look like to get to the top of this company. So Ignite Performance 10-week challenge is one great opportunity. We're launching 3 cohorts the week of March 14th. If you go to the next slide, Spivey, this will just give you a little bit of a picture of who this is for. Okay, so this 10-week challenge is for people who've written at least 6 applications through the team leader promotion. So that is the ideal target for these particular coaching groups. These meet every week for about 75 minutes. And we're launching during the week of March 14th. If you have your phone available, you'll want to take a picture of this slide if you're interested in registering, because that link down there isn't clickable for you. You'll want to type that into your browser, although somebody probably can be a superstar and put it in the chat for us. But again, this is, if you're beyond that team leader phase a little bit and you're still interested, we'd say, go ahead and do that. We're just saying the bullseye of this is 6 apps to team leader. I've had other leaders like Roddy Jessup ask me, hey, would it be okay if I actually signed up for some of these so I can see what agents are experiencing? And I said, absolutely, feel free to do that. So you can kind of have that lens on it as well. But 75 minute meetings weekly. The cost for the whole thing, this isn't a monthly cost, this is for the whole 10 weeks, is $225, which if we think about value-based coaching pricing, this is way too low. It is way too low. But that's the good thing we're trying to do. We're trying to make a sliding scale approach to our pricing available for every single agent, no matter where their stage of the journey is. And again, it's only getting more precise and more effective and more accurate. So if you're looking to learn an activity roadmap to hit your bullseye, looking for that daily mindset ritual, which when I'm being honest, when Justin and I first started getting to know each other, again, shout out to Brad Smith who connected us. Justin told me about the first few sessions. He really goes deep on mindset. And I was kind of like, oh gosh, we do a lot on mindset and we want to really focus on sales skills. But from the feedback and from the results, it's clear, as you all know, so much of it comes back to that. And Justin models that and teaches that so well. So if you're looking for greater accountability, how to get repeatable results in our system, how to start getting into referrals to new clients and new recruits, and really starting to learn about how your systems can automate so you can scale and multiply your time, this is the cohort for you. I put a couple testimonials in there that I just like the consistency element of these, right? My mindset now wears his suit of armor. I've had back-to-back weeks of almost 5K, and I haven't blanked a week since starting. I love that, and I like the second phrase, I'm maintaining consistency with only 1 week with no sales in several months. Those are big game changer things. We have a number of other cohorts launching right now around our process word of the year and things like that. But just stay tuned. If this is resonating with you, grab a picture. It will be absolutely a great investment for your time and resource. So wanted to let you know about that. You'll hear more about it. We'll probably get an email out in a few weeks as well, so you can sign up that way.
Very good, man. Appreciate that and all the work that's going on behind the scenes, guys. If you're not taking part in one of those cohorts right now, I'm telling you, you and your teams are missing out. B-Dubs has poured a lot of his heart and soul into putting a lot of these programs together, and there's so much more to come. And part of those rollouts will be at this virtual summit. And before I talk about virtual summit, thank you to my forever upline, Mr. Danny Young. Something did seem wrong there. Noticing that we missed senior partners and managing partners in the leaderboards. Not sure what happened there, how we missed out on those, but definitely want to give always praise. We'll get those numbers and get everything updated, but definitely shout out to Mr. Marshall Whalen, who I'm sure came in at number 1 with the other managing partner there, Mr. Kevin Purdy. So we'll check into that, guys, and see what happened to those leaderboards. Apologize to anybody that we missed on those. But B-Dubs, we got the virtual summit coming up. You can register now at reimagine2022.com. Important for you to be there, important for you to bring your agents, important for your agents to bring friends, family, those interested in a business, anybody out there that might even be considering a change or needs a part-time opportunity to make some additional cash, or somebody that's really just ready to go all in and has decided that there's a different path for them and they just haven't found it, guys. This is an opportunity to hear from some of the very best in the business that are right now transforming the way that the insurance industry will look in the next 10 years. B-Dubs, I know we don't want to share too many secrets that we plan to unveil, but your thoughts, buddy, on where this company's going in the next 5 years.
Yes, this conference is absolutely at a different level in terms of the kind of product rollouts that you're going to see that actually substantively change the way you do your business, actually free up your time, actually do things for you that you won't have to do anymore. So some of those will become real right away, and others will be a little bit of time behind them. But I will tell you that this conference, I believe we're going to get a lot of open jaw pictures and people going, oh my gosh. I think it's going to demonstrate the revolution that's been happening around product and technology and where we're headed to align all of that to the greatest return on investment for the agent. So I could not be more excited about this. And I know everyone is, so that's good. We don't have to sort of fan the flame much more, but this is going to be an unbelievable experience. So
Absolutely, man. We can't wait. I know B-Dubs is already there on site. We've got Casey and Brandon just took off to head that way as well. And I know myself is about to get in the car and jump that direction as well. But Mr. Whitaker, you wouldn't mind coming on to join us. I know, Mr. Whitaker, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to switch to my earbuds, and I'm going to be in the car driving over to Knoxville, anxiously listening to you and your team pour into us and share your thoughts today, buddy. So we just appreciate you so much. Everything that you've done, everything that we've always heard about you from the Smith organization, the entire Pritchett organization. And for me, just hearing from even what's even really cool for me in my position is when I hear from other agency owners and agents that you've impacted, even outside the Pritchett organization, and how you've touched a lot of people and you've really encouraged people and shown them what's possible. And then just to see and hear you, buddy, speak live at conference, man, gave me chills. That was incredible. If anybody didn't get to catch that online, I'm sure that content can be found, and it is definitely worth a 20-minute investment of your time to go Mr. Jeremy on stage at the most recent Altitude conference. So Jeremy, we're going to turn it over to you, buddy, and we'll let you shut this down. When you're done, you can close out the call, and we appreciate you, buddy.
let me say one thing too. Jeremy, one of the things that I could say with accuracy is that when I think about humble confidence, that mindset that we teach, I don't know of anyone who models that with such consistency and authenticity as you. I think your level of competency, you would never know it. And I mean, you live it and you model the way for us, but you have a very lived humility in your example that I think is so just extraordinary. And you are such an example of a leader worth following. And I value personally, and I know we all value and celebrate the level of humility that you lead with, and the confidence. It's there too. But it's just such in fact, that'd be a great call for us to do, is just to pull out. It's weird to talk about humility, right? How do you talk about humility? But it is actually something that is cultivatable. And oftentimes I tell people is the path of humility is crossed over by the bridge of gratitude. And you're obviously a very thankful person, but you certainly model that quality as good as anyone that I've ever seen and known. So celebrating you go on with your bad self in that gold microphone, and we'll look forward to hearing.
Man, Brian, Todd, thank you guys both for those words. That means a whole lot. I am so grateful, first off, just for being here. I'm grateful to be under the mentorship of somebody like Brad Smith, right, who came in and completely showed me the way through this system to completely alter the life, not just my life, but for generations to come. I'm forever grateful to be under the leadership of people like, Edward Pritchett, and to have founders like we have. It's kind of special with Brian and Brandon and Casey and everything that they pour out into us and into this company to make sure that we're the most successful agents in the industry. It is freaking amazing, right? If you know my story, my background just a little bit, I will say when I met Brad, it wasn't through the conventional methods. It wasn't, warm market, cold market, any of that stuff. I guess it's kind of cold market, but I knocked on the right door one day. I got lucky. I knocked on the right door. Opportunity was there. I saw a person who I could follow, a person who was humble, a person who was confident. And I wanted to be just like that guy, right? Didn't know what Symmetry was. He gave me a card, didn't know any of that, but I knew that I wanted to win here, and came here, and the road was a little bit tougher than what I thought it would be, to say the least, right? I believe, I know for a fact that even my mentor, even Brad, he probably, thought of me as, man, is this guy going to make it? Is he just going to quit? He's got a terrible start. You're talking about 6 weeks of wondering, man, what am I doing? 6 weeks of really thinking about quitting over and over and over again. I mean, we're talking about 6 weeks of making phone calls, getting hung up on, getting cussed out. We're talking about 6 weeks of like buying leads every single week. Every single week. They said buy leads every single week. So 200 goes out, 300 goes out. I don't know where the water bill or light bill is going to be coming from, but I'm buying leads. 6 weeks of that. And somebody's been there before. Actually, if you've been there before, I just want to know how many other people have been there in this business to where you had a place where you struggled more than you know of anybody else struggling, right? Where it was tough, where you felt like giving up. If I don't see that chat moving just yet, but I want to see that chat moving because I know some other people have been there. And if you hadn't been there, this call is for you if you have, right? But this call is also for you if you hadn't been there, because at some point in your career, at some point in your business and your journey, there's going to be something hard that comes up where we have to figure out, man, what's my response? And I know for me, I can remember, I wish I had it pulled up, wish I had prepared that part, but I can remember this text message I sent Brad after week number 6, or actually in the midst of week number 6. And I texted him and I said, man, I know I gave him all my reasons why I probably should quit. And I complained a little bit. But I ended that question, that text message with this statement. And the statement was, I don't care really what I have to do. I don't care who I need to listen to, what books I need to read. I refuse not to win at this. I will be successful here. And up until this second, I really didn't put those two together about this topic, really having that will to win, because I believe that's the first win. See, over the last 18 months, I've really spent a lot of time talking with and researching and really trying to break down what are the ingredients that it takes to have what I call the A factor, right? I see some of these high level producers. You've seen them on the leaderboards. You've seen people go out and do 94,000 in a month. You see people go out and do 20,000 here. Like it's phenomenal. But I want to know, what is it about those people? What is there about those people that makes them go out week after week, day after day, and they make winning look so easy from this point of view, right? And I call that thing the A factor. I've been talking about it for 18 months, and I won't talk about all the components of it, but I will talk about this one component, just having that will, right? Struggling, it's going to be a part of it, right? Thinking about quitting, that could be a part of it, right? This business has a proven track record of allowing a person to enter into the business itself without being favored to be successful. That's me, right? Coming from the background that I come from, without being favored to be successful. I sold meat door to door. Nobody says that I should be a successful insurance agent, but this business will allow for that type of person who has a will to be successful and not much more. They'll allow for that person to plug into a proven system to really develop the skills that it takes to win and win big. See, 58 months is what I've been here. I got licensed March 2017. And I've had the privilege of building some relationships with some of the most incredible people. See, their stories are a little bit different from each other, right? Like when I introduce these people in a second, you'll realize we've got some similarities, but the biggest ingredient, the biggest thing that we can all lean on and say, hey, this is the thing that I feel like is the reason why I keep going. And you're going to feel that through the things that they're going to share with you. And it's going to lead back ultimately to their will to do those things that winners do. I'm not going to tell you that will is the end all be all in this conversation. I do believe that there's some other important factors, and some of that stuff will be discovered as we move into this discussion. But I believe that if we lead with will, that's our first win. And winning is one of those things that we want to stack, right? We want to win there, and then the next minute we want to win, and then we want to win again. And so let me introduce you to some of the people that I get the privilege of, first off, being in this business with, being in relationship with. The first one, you've seen his picture. You've seen him all over the leaderboard here lately. This producer here, let's just talk about last month. Issued in December. Let's back up a month further. December, $36,000 issued on his own pen. This is not written business. This is $36,000 issued in a month, and finished out January with at least $30,000 in issued production. Now, it sounds really, really good until you realize in 2020, he did $80,000 for the whole year. In fact, the first quarter of the year, we would have thought that he's set up to do the exact same thing that he did in 2020 and 2021, because he did $16,000 in that quarter. But something happened for Nick Redmond in quarter two, because between quarter two and the end of the year, he did $230,000 in production on his own pen, when in quarter one, he did 16, right? That's an amazing accomplishment. He's an amazing person. He's passionate about this business. He's passionate about making a difference. He came here with the same background as me, being a meat man. And so Nick Redmond, he's going to be my first one. Then we also following him, got Key Leader, who has been in this business with me, actually has been in business with me the entire time I've ever been in business. He's my best friend. He actually ran my meat company, or our meat company, with me. Business partner there, business partner again. He's in the top five in our overall production in our agency. He's my brother. His name is Brady Moss. He's Key Leader with Symmetry. And then we have somebody I'm really excited about, because we've got two meat men and myself. That means three meat men. And so we had to bring on an attorney with us. And so we got not just an attorney, right? Really successful at that, but came here into this business 2 years ago. In the last 2 years, she has written $823,000 in personal production, all remotely, every single bit of it on the phone. Agency owner. She's an elite producer. She is passionate. She is so giving, such a great person, a great example of our topic. And so that's Wendy Tanner, who's going to be on with us last. And so without further delay, I want to make sure that you guys get the most out of these guys and their stories. I want to welcome to the Zoom stage, Mr. Nick Redmond. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How many of you guys want to win? Type in the chat. I can't see you, so let me type in the chat. I want to win. How many of you want to win? How many of you want to know the difference between winning and quitting at Symmetry? Type yes in the chat. I'm going to be all over this chat, so I want to see it. I'm going to be looking down. Type yes in the chat. Thank you. Yup. Thank you for participating. So my name, thank you, Jeremy, Nick Redmond, direct to the wizard here, Jeremy Whitaker, and Brad Smith, and the late, great Matt Smith, the part of the Edward Pritchett hierarchy. And it's a true honor to be here. First time sharing with you guys, the entire Symmetry family. And so I heard once that there's only two outcomes in this business, right? You either win or quit, right? That was said by, the one and only Brian Pope. And he said it on stage to a Mr. Marlon Faulkner, and it completely changed his life. So today's topic is where there's a will, there's a win. So what I want to talk about is how you have to feel like quitting before you can truly win. And I'm going to do that in 3 steps, guys. Okay. Type in the chat if you want to know. Say yes if you want to know the 3 steps. We have to make a decision. We have to start. And then we got to run. Make a decision. Get started. Time to run. So before I do that, before I show you guys these steps, I just would like to ask, would it be okay with you guys if, I share my story? So thank you. So I'm the last person that you would ever think could win. Okay. From ages 8 to 11, I lost my mom and both of my grandparents. At 12 years old, my dad, started boozing, couldn't hold it down, came home, told us we're getting evicted. And right behind him walked in social services, and they picked up me and my brothers. And we actually went to we separated, and we went to 3 different foster homes. That's where we grew up. Unfortunately, we never moved back in together. And honestly, I mean, I made every wrong decision that you could possibly make, you know. And then all of a sudden, something changed. I met this person, the most important person in my life, the most beautiful woman, soon to be my wife, Brittany. And we started a family, and everything changed. I realized that I had something bigger than me to fight for. So there again, Jeremy said, I was in a similar business, and I was looking for more, and I found him, he found me, however you look at it. And when I talked to him on the phone, I seen somebody who had what I wanted and came from where I'm at. So I jumped in. My first week, I went out, I believe it was like $6,000 in APV. You know, I was #1 rookie writer, you know, in Symmetry on the leaderboard. And I thought I was the biggest thing since sliced bread. And I was wrong. I was terribly, terribly wrong. And it became hard. And I quit. You know, I didn't have any foundation. I didn't log onto the Zooms. I wasn't on these calls. I didn't do any personal growth. I didn't listen to I didn't listen to anybody. And for about 4 or 5 months, I lived my life. I had to wake up and look at my kids and tell them, and literally think that, you know, this is it. I lost an opportunity of a lifetime. And every day I had to look my kids in the face and know that this is as good as it's ever going to be, because Dad quit. Daddy's a quitter. And I couldn't sleep. I could not do it. So I called Jeremy and I came back January 2021. I won't go into detail. You heard a lot of it with him. My first month I came back was a struggle. I did $1,500 in APV. I think my issue rate was 30%. And I was buying leads every single week. So you can do the math. And I just felt like I could never win. Like, what was I doing? And I heard about this conference down in Dallas, Texas. I'm from New York, called Ignite, that the Smiths were throwing in the middle of COVID. And me and my wife spent every single dollar we had. I mean, literally, when we came home, we had zeros. We spent every dollar to go down to this event. We made a decision to go to that event. We don't have family. So I had to bring her mother-in-law along with us because we didn't want to leave our kids at home for a week, for 4 days. So we brought her with us, and my wife would come in and out of the conference and make sure that she was there with the kids, okay, so that we could come to this conference. That is when we both made a decision, guys. We decided to go all in. We didn't go all in on Symmetry, right? Symmetry is just a vehicle. And I might add, it's a mighty fine vehicle, guys. Type in the chat, mighty fine. Type it in there. Let's see it. But we decided to go all in together. We went all in on ourselves. And we came back from that conference. Boy, we were on fire. And then we struggled. Like you heard, I did another 12,000 the next 2 months. And we made a decision to take our family. We ain't never live anywhere outside of New York. And we went and we there again, spent every single dollar we had to move to Arkansas. I used to call it Arkansas, next to Jeremy and Brad Smith, to get closer. You always hear, get closer to the fire, right? So we moved down here to get closer to people who had what I wanted. We made a decision and moved down here. We didn't have nothing. We came down. I didn't even know the place. I didn't walk in or see the house we were going to live at until we walked in it for the first time and already paid to move in. We committed. We moved down here. And my wife, she had the fire. So when I didn't have the will or the power or the belief, she was there. She willed us to it. When I was down, she kept me in the field every single week. Buy leads, Nick. Buy leads, Nick. Don't worry about the truck payment. Buy leads. She knew what was at stake. And we made a decision to win at all costs as a family. My kids, we had a conversation. We sat down, all of us. And from April to the end of the year, we grew by 3,000%. We submitted $232,000 in APV and ended the year. The first 3 months I issued 30%. At the end of the year, my complete total issue rate was 75%. We changed our lives because of a decision. And every day when I wake up, from that moment, I started saying, I will win. I will reinvest into events. I will commit to personal development. I will get up before 6 a.m. I will leave some days before my kids are awake, and I will come home after they are asleep. I will book 20 appointments a week. I will get chargebacks. I will get no-show. I will become a top producer. In 2022, I will become an agency owner and an elite producer. I will qualify for ears, and I will show my kids that anything is possible. I will win here. And believe me, winning is so much better than quitting. It's time to run, guys. Okay, this isn't just an opportunity of a lifetime. This is an opportunity that can pay for the rest of our lives. This is an opportunity that will pay for a lifetime. Are you guys ready to run? Type it in the chat. If you're ready to run, I want to see you ready to run. Are you guys ready to go? It's our time. This is our time. Let's go.
Man. Woo! If you didn't get fired up, if you don't see the energy, what makes a winner a winner? Listen, make a decision. See, I've seen that decision turn out to transform not just his life, but the decisions that he's making every day, the way that his kids think and they talk and the actions, they come from that, right? And that is what Symmetry is, what's possible here for a person who has that will to succeed here in Symmetry. I want to bring on Mr. Brady Moss.
How's it going, Jeremy? Super grateful, man, that you would ask me to be a part of this today. Just want to throw out some gratitude to the founders of this company, Brian, Brandon, and Casey. Thanks for building, I call this the house, man, the house, because I'm home. You create a place where all of us have a level playing field and we all got that same chance, to get that same outcome, as long as we all have that same will. That's what this call, when you told me that, it took me back to the days when you said, how we started in business together. And I can remember, when we got that old truck running for the first time and we picked up our first load of meat and we were headed home and there was something wrong. We're not mechanics. There was something wrong with the truck and it would only idle. And I can just remember on those hot days where I would hop out of the truck and push that truck up to the top of the hill and jump on the back of the tailgate and roll down the next hill. But we fought through it, and we knew that if there was a will, there was a win, and we made that win. And it, as it turned out, it was a nice tenor of our life that it took up, and I was so grateful that that things, turned in a different direction, because sometimes we have to understand that even negative things in our lives that happen for positive reasons. And the second part of my gratitude is for Brad and Matt Smith for always being the leaders that they've been, and Edward Pritchett just pouring into us and giving us, everything we need, just to make it here, to make that will even easier to apply. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful to God that Brad Smith opens the doors for Meatman. He opened that door because it wasn't just a physical door he opened. He opened up a life-changing event for so many of us here through you, Jeremy. And I'm so grateful that I don't know if God led you to that door that day, but it's been a blessing for so many of us that you knocked on it. and we just appreciate what you do and what you do for us on a day-to-day basis. Kind of want to go into, when I started here, I started in April 2019. Me and Jeremy had already a couple years prior to that, broke our company up. We had realized we were putting in way too much time and energy into a lifestyle we couldn't enjoy. So we shut it down and went our separate ways. And I ended up back in Mississippi, around where my family and hometown was at. And in that time, Jeremy had knocked on that old door we're talking about, and got to meet Brad. And I kept getting phone calls from him and Michelle, they're my family. And they're just telling me all these things that Jeremy's accomplishing. And at that time, I'm not going to lie, I was a little sour in myself, didn't have any personal development or people around me, not what you would call a top five. My top five was Jeremy, and the other four were pretty easy to replace. If I look back, I can't even remember who they are anymore. But I had a top five at some point, they say. But those people have definitely changed. But turn around and during that time, I got started, and Jeremy took me to my first conference in Washington, D.C. And I got to see this guy that I've known since he was just a 19-year-old kid develop and just grow and just build the lifestyle that we'd both been trying to do together for so many years, and kept running into that brick wall called life. You know what I mean? Those setbacks. And we always, he always was that visionary person for me, that he always showed me, even when I was down on myself, even from way in the beginning, guys, where there was a will, there was a way, because there's no man on this planet that I know that can outwork him. I haven't met him yet. I'm still looking. When I find him, I'll let you know. But I turn around and I got started. We went to conference. That was the year that Jeremy got #1 producer. Kate Ware was #2 or 3 in the IULs that year. And I was like, it was like sitting, the Simmies was like sitting at a CMA awards with Garth Brooks with Jeremy. He was on stage getting more awards than I actually got to see him that conference. And it was just so great to see that he got the chance that he was looking for, and that he was doing the things that I wanted to do. And it just, when I came back from that conference, man, I was just so on fire. Especially, on the front side, it was like being with Garth Brooks at the CMA. But when we left, I felt like Tiger Woods' caddy, because I was having to carry all his awards out. He got like the Superman awards and all that stuff. But it was just so great to do that, to get to touch it and feel it, and to know that there was hope, and that with will and with determination, that myself could accomplish that same fate as him. And so I got back, got my license, guys. As we all know, when we get started, you got to get leads, you got to get these things to get started. And I didn't even have a running car. And back in those days, this is pre-pandemic, we were all in the field. So what did I do? I got on the phone with my mom. I told my mom, man, I was at Washington with Jeremy. She knows how much I love Jeremy. I says, this is the chance I've been looking for. Can you please watch the kids for a month for me, so I can just focus on this business and get a good kickstart and going? Oh, and by the way, I need to borrow your car. And thank God I had a mom that was just there, that she just seen in my eyes that I had seen something, and she could feel it through the energy that I had gotten from Jeremy and all the other leaders at that conference. And so I busted out into the field, and I turned around and I got these leads. And to be honest with you, I really needed her to take the kids for a month for me, so I could get on, I could get leads. I had to go out and pawn just about every TV and tool I had at the time, just to get started. But I did it. And then after I did it, I got on the phones, and Jeremy just coached me through it like the true leader he is. And he said, Brady, he says, you got this, brother. I know you're nervous. It's not the meat business. He says, but trust me, there's a silver lining at the other end. I know you've got what it takes to do this. And he just believed in me. And I got on the phone, set these appointments. And then the very next week realized I didn't even have a laptop to run the appointment. So to go into my hard parts of where I started, I actually had an iPhone that was busted. You remember that iPhone, Jeremy? the one I had. I mean, this thing had gotten literally backed over by a meat truck, a pickup truck. Like the screen was shattered, and I remember that I was trying to figure out a way. You know, I had the will. You know what I mean? I had all this energy just from conference. Like you couldn't stop me, but I kept trying to need a way. You know, to win. And so what I did is I had went out and I got these cheap. I mean, there were RCA tablets for the kids. Like I waited up all night at Walmart to get these tablets for them. And when I got them, the one thing that I found out is they don't hook up to the internet unless they're hardwired, you know, and so I turn around and I grabbed one. I says, you know what, I'm going to take this with my phone. I'm going to run my appointments. And I got inside the homes and I knew that my tablet wouldn't work on the internet. So no matter what a client said to me, I'd say, who's your internet provider? They'd say Comcast or AT&T. I would say, oh man, that's the only one that won't work. But that's okay. We've got an answer. Okay, I can still do it on my phone. Please excuse the screen. I'm waiting on a new one. So I had to make an excuse, but I had a will that was bigger than not having a laptop. I had a will that was bigger than the tools that I needed, because I knew that, you know, in construction, you need a hammer to build a house. But I knew that if I could find a brick, just a brick to hit that nail, just something to pound it in until I could afford a hammer, until I could get out there and do what I needed to do. And I didn't have the heart to call Jeremy, because this is a guy who has been behind me for most of my adult life, you know, in business with them. And I've seen the things that he's made out of nothing. And I couldn't call him and say, hey, buddy, can you buy me a laptop or this or that? Because I didn't have the gall to do that. I didn't earn that respect. So what I did is I turned around and I got out there. I did good. My first 90 days, guys, you know, I didn't have Jeremy's results, thank God. But I had a will, and I took, you know, a bunch of B leads he sent me, and I took the money that I had from pawning all of my TVs and stuff, and I got these leads and I set these appointments, and I averaged about 5,000-6,000 a week. Never was really a big producer, but it was momentum. It was moving, you know what I mean, in the right direction, just in the right direction. And I just poured in everything I had, because I knew there was no plan B. I knew there was nowhere else for me to run back to, because, you know, just like Nick was saying, at this point in the game, I had done picked up my family, moved them from Mississippi. And I don't know, Jeremy is like this big magnet of love or something. But like when you get involved with him and you've been in business with him, he draws you to him. So I came to Arkansas. I came here. I put in everything. But right before I got here, you know, we had something that was happening in the world. You know what I mean? Things were changing. People were getting sick for no reason. Bam, we got hit with a pandemic. So where I found myself is like, I needed a way to win again. You know what I mean? I got here and now I'm scared like a deer in the headlights, because you guys, just to kind of rewind and tell you what I had been through during the time me and Jeremy were separated, was I had lost my father. I had lost my kids. Two of my children's moms had passed away. And when I heard about this pandemic, I had turned around and I got scared. You guys, I had been building with Jeremy. I had a pretty good success rate at all. I was the recruiter for the meat company. I was recruiting here, and I fell off. I lost my will and I got scared. And I'll admit that on a national call. Slightly after that, one of the hardest things that ever happened to me, I'm living through now. I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I was given 3 to 6 months to live. And I laid up for about a month. I went from 240 pounds down to about 140 pounds, guys, and really just gave up on living. But there was this light at the end of the tunnel, you know. I just prayed in my faith. I asked God, I said, God, you know, I says, I just need a way. I got the will. I still got the will, but I just need a way. And I went and seen these doctors, and, you know, doctors, they don't ever give you good news. You know what I mean? They just kept telling me, you know, you've got this to live and these are your odds and this and that. And I just kept praying. And one day this lady popped into the oncology office, and I'll never forget her face. She said, "Mr. Moss, we've done a lot of tests on you, and we found a treatment. It's not FDA approved. You'll have to be willing to be, basically a test dummy, but we're seeing outstanding results with other people that are taking this medication. So of course, what's the alternative? Where there's a will, there's a win, right? So I can either die and take the loss, or I can sign up for this and have a chance at having the will again." And 2 months after that, with Jeremy's help and with Nick Redmond, my brothers in crime, the Meat Man Trio, I gathered up enough energy to come into the office, and that backboard that you guys see, that whiteboard that you see right behind Jeremy there, I started writing out all the recruits I had and this, that, and the other. And, and I was thinking about how hard things were for me, because how am I going to do this now that, they're telling me that, they don't know how long I'm going to live. And thank God I had Nick and Jeremy there to sit and, Nick just looked at me and said, "I would kill to have what you got right now, Brady. I'd kill to have your team." And it lit that fire back inside of me that I needed someone that wasn't going to be nice to me, that was going to tell me, where there's a will, there's a win. You're not dead yet. Get off your, excuse my language, get off your butt. You know what I mean? You're not dead yet. And I turn around and everything changed for me. I stopped asking myself the questions, why me? And I started saying, why not me? I knew that God had a plan for me at that moment. I had been blessed with something that I had never, ever thought in a million years I would consider a blessing. Never would I ever consider cancer a blessing. But after that point, I hugged my kids more. I loved my kids more. I paid attention to the people around me more. I plugged into these calls and I listened. I started paying attention to the things I took for granted because, I didn't know how much time I had. And when I did that organically, with me only producing, and, I hate to say this, but it's the truth, organically, I poured myself into people more than I ever did in my whole life. And I have been doing that since. The results of that is organically, I became a key leader. My team got behind me and they pushed me. I would love to say I pushed them, but they pushed me harder, Jeremy, than I had ever been pushed before. And they made me see that I was the person to lead the pack, that they needed me as much as I needed them. And they said, with your will, there's a win, and we're going to show you that win. And organically, what I had already failed at doing a couple of times previously with my recruiting efforts of building to become key leader, organically, with me doing less than 5,000 of production a month, I just 2 months ago got the honor of becoming a key leader, man. Wow. And passing one of those milestones. And to those guys, there's too many of them. I love each and every one of you guys on my team and everything you're doing, just the things that they've showed me. Where there's a will, there's a win. I've gotten the honor to learn more from them than I've ever gotten to teach them. You know what I mean?
So good. So good, man. So good. Your story is so powerful. I love your mindset, how dominant you are in it. And the fact that you're fighting this thing is, I don't have cancer. Cancer got me. Right. And that's your words. Right. And that's the reason you're winning. That's the reason why there can't be a timeline. Right. We all know. And so,
Jeremy, this thing, and real quick, and I'll turn it back over to you. It taught me two major things in life. It taught me to love like there's no tomorrow and to live like there's no tomorrow. But it also taught me that there's two kinds of people in this world, Jeremy. And it's sad when I say this, because it's one of the saddest things that I've had to come in to grips with. There are people in this world that'll go every day doing the same old and expecting different changes. And those are the kind of people that I say they're living to die in this world. And then there's people like me. I'm just dying to live, brother. I'm just dying to live.
Man.
Every day I get up and get to share this business with new people, and I get to meet new people that give me just one more reason to have a will to win, one more reason to stick around that much longer, because I just can't go out of this world without seeing, you know, those team leaders on my team become who they're supposed to be. And I just have this thing that I want to say to everybody: don't be live like you're dying, man. Live like you're dying. Realize we all have an hourglass. They were all flipped over at the time of birth, but not one of us know how much sand is inside our glass. And if you live like you do, you'll be surprised when you get to where I'm at and you realize that there wasn't as much sand, and you've got to run a lot faster and a lot harder time.
Wow.
So on that, brother, I appreciate you letting me share my story. I love each and every one of you guys, and man, let's keep winning.
That's good. So good. So good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. If you got anything out of these last couple of speakers, go ahead and put that in, like to say, yes, I got something out of that. I'm so glad I came here. I know we're at 1:30. I've got one more person for you, right? If you don't mind me spending 5 or 6 more minutes on the call, just raise your hand in that thing, or say, hey, keep going, or whatever. If you want us to get off, we'll get off, or you can get off, or however we want to do it. But I would be really amiss if we did not bring on this final guest that I've got for you. And we talk about a person who, I mean, from the time that I met Wendy Tanner, agency owner here, from the time I met her, has completely, like, she was the catalyst for every bit of growth over the last couple of years, leading from the front, giving everybody else somebody to run with. And I want to just flip this thing over and let you share with us briefly on this topic, Miss Wendy Tanner.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Hello, Symmetry. I hope you're all still here with us. It's been an amazing ride today, as it always is. I am very grateful to be here with all of you. I am forever grateful to Jeremy Whitaker, being our leader, our own Superman, that I get to chase every single week for all he does for us every single day, always leading from the front. His beautiful family, his beautiful wife, Michelle, all she does in the background to help every single one of us. I am direct to Kate Ware in the amazing Jeremy Whitaker Master Agency, part of the Brad and Matt Smith Master Agency, a dynamic duo that will live on forever with us through Brad. Can't say enough about what they have done for me personally, for my family, and in this business, as well as part of the Edward Pritchett, and everybody knows who Edward is. So with that said, I just want to share with you that, you know, everything that Jeremy is saying, where there's a will, there's a win. No matter what you do in life, anything is possible if you want it. When you get that fire in your belly, and there's nothing that's going to deny you from getting where you want to go, getting what you want, you become an unstoppable person. And that's what I've learned throughout the course of my life. I came from being a family law attorney for 25 years in Pennsylvania, and I began to specialize throughout my career in child abduction cases internationally, where I would petition through The Hague to return these children to their family here in Pennsylvania. And I used to travel to those countries. I would be gone for 3, 4, 5, even 6 months at a time to try these cases away from my own family. And it got to be exhausting, but I felt like I was doing something so good. And then one day my daughter was asked a question in our kitchen. She was 10. Kaylee, what do you want to be when you grow up? She didn't have that answer, but she had a powerful one. I don't want to be what my mom does because I lost my childhood to her career. That was like a kick in the stomach. And I had to wake up and decide, what am I going to do here? And so I, within 2 years, closed down my office, stayed at home with my children for a few years, and then decided I need to do something else. I need to help people just in another way. So I decided to get my life insurance license. And I did that because I lost my husband, as many of you know, at a very young age. And I know what his policy did for me and my 2 babies. And so I decided that's going to be the right thing for me. I can help a lot of people. I can touch their lives in a different way. And so I proceeded. I worked for a local firm here in the Lehigh Valley, and they really only sold 2 annuity products. I still am not too keen on annuities, everybody. Sorry, I'll admit it. I know they got their place, but I couldn't help enough people with 2 products that were annuities. That's a special kind of family. So and they really also didn't have the value set that I possess. So I left, and my mom, I know what to do. And I talked to my daughter, who has all the answers, right? And she says, Mom, just go on ZipRecruiter. I'm like, what is ZipRecruiter? So I go on Zip, I find an ad. The very first one I see is for an appointment setter for Kate Ware. So I called her, we met, we hit it off. I set her appointments for about 6 weeks till she said, you have your license, get out in the field. This is crazy. You're so good at this. I said, you're insane. I don't know anything about anything. I can't do that. I got to learn about these products. What am I going to talk about? Just go. I'll help you. Make a mess. We'll clean it up. I looked at my husband. I said, do you believe this? I didn't do anything with personal development before I came here, right? It was all about me, and it was all about what I was taught by my mentors. You have to win. You can't fail. Failure is a very bad word. And imagine hearing that day in and day out. You had to kill everything you did. So I said, this is crazy. I don't think I can do this. And he said, let's try it. Let's do it. He drove me to every single appointment. And what happens? 3 months later, the pandemic hits. We can't go out into the homes any longer because Pennsylvania said, no, you'll lose your license. Can't do that. So I said to him, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to hang my hat somewhere else. This isn't going to work. If I can't sit in the table and rub knees with them, I can't sell them anything. And he said, you'll be fine. It'll be fine. What happens? That Friday, Brad Smith engineered a call with Justin Finney to teach us all about telesales. If I would have missed that call, I wouldn't be talking to you today. Right? So I recorded it. I typed it all out, set an appointment the very next day. Coming back in the car from my last in-home appointment, I ran a telesales appointment in the car, read that script word for word, sold my first telesales appointment policy, and never looked back. So I can tell everybody, these calls, don't miss them. Don't ever miss them, because you don't know when that little nugget is going to get dropped in your lap that's going to change your life. That call changed the trajectory of my business and of my life and that of my kids, the 2 most important people in the world to me, those kids. So when I say there's a will, there's a way, absolutely, I would move a mountain with a stick if I had to for them. So when I think about a will, there is nothing that will stop me. Somebody says you can't do that. Oh, absolutely, I can. That means it's going to make my children's lives better, and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I will do what I must do. Right? So I can tell you, please, with all of my heart, don't miss these calls. I know sometimes they're long, but it could be that one word, that intonation that Jeremy uses that's going to change the way you say something, that's going to resonate with somebody in a heartbeat. I also want to share with you that I think, through that time, I finally made Key Leader. My family came to my rescue. They started to write business. They all got their licenses, right? We hit Key Leader in 2020, and we move on to top producer. So I'm thrilled. And we roll into 2021, and it was time to go to the next level for me. I said, I kept missing elite producer twice, very close. That wasn't good enough. Jeremy's like, be happy. Look, you did the numbers. Yeah, but I was $200 short. That's not it. That's not enough. I'm going to do some more. And we made that commitment to do agency owner run. And by June, we had done that. And we got to get to elite producer and 100% level, contract level here at Symmetry, all at the same time. So what do I attribute that to? And that would be commitment. We all have goals, right? We want to have these big goals, and we need to have them. But Justin teaches me that life is a series of mini marathons, 90-day sprints. Hey, you can do anything for 90 days, anything, right? So I started to think, what is my big goal? Never thought about that, right? I just had to bring these kids back home. Well, now I have to do something different, right? So 90-day sprints is how I learned to think. My mindset, boy, had to change, because what I just told you was not easy. There were a lot of tears, There were a lot of breakdowns. There were a lot of, I'm quitting. And my husband saying, great, get over yourself. What else are you going to do? You don't know how to do anything else. Go back to work. So I felt sorry for an hour and I went back to the kitchen table and I started working again, right? So it's that commitment. It's those goals that you're setting and committing. What am I going to do? How am I going to get to that first part of my commitment? What do I have to do? Because when I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. When Jeremy asks, what are you in for this week? If I tell him 10,000, it's going to be 10,000 if I'm up till midnight on Friday. He will get his 10,000. So that commitment is important. That consistency that it takes for those 90 days. You can change anything in 90 days by doing it over and over and over again. I'm a product of that. I used to think Justin was insane when he said that. No, he's right. But why? Because I'm held accountable. It's that third piece, everybody, accountability. If Jeremy says, where are you, Wendy, on the call? What'd you turn in this week? And I have to tell him $9,450. Do you think it's going to make me happy? No, because I know he's going to ask me. I committed to that. When Justin says, Wendy, where's your activity sheet? I want to see it. What'd you do this week? If I committed to 20 appointments and 10 interviews, I better have them on that activity sheet because I'm not going to let him down. I'm not going to let Jeremy down. I'm not going to let my kids down. I am not going to do that. So if I can leave you with anything, it's A, believe in yourself. B, it's lean on your mentor and listen to what they have to say. Tell them exactly how things happen. I'm not proud of some of the things I've had to say, but they help me figure it out. They help me figure out the right way. Embrace the failure. God, I never thought I would say that, let alone to all of you, right? Because why? It makes us better every single day. It's okay. And find somebody that you resonate with. Jeremy, I resonated with. I wanted to catch him. I still want to catch him every week. And he posts these numbers in Ring Central. And I think it's Tuesday. He's done $12,000. I have 2,000. How am I going to catch his red cape? How? Right? Then I found Nick. Nick came in and ran with me. Nick sends me SOS texts. He needs something. He needs an answer immediately. I do the same to him. And what do? We run together and we chase Jeremy. It is a healthy thing to do. And it keeps you going. It keeps you running. And one thing that Nick Redmond has taught me, I mean, he's taught me many things, as you can all see, he's powerful, right? Everything goes to zero at midnight. That clock resets itself and you start the next day with a clean slate. There's nothing better than that feeling. I mean, who likes the word no? I don't. I still don't. I'm learning to hear it and not get upset by it in the moment. I don't like it, but it makes me work harder so the next one's going to be a yes. It's not going to be a no. And when I go to bed, I shut off that clock and I start at zero when I wake up in the morning. I don't think about what happened yesterday.
Wow.
And that was from Nick. So everybody, please, I'm going to leave you. If you can do anything for the Whitaker Master Agency today, other than show us some love, it's a call to action. I want you to sit down and think, what is my commitment? Why am I here? And what do I want? Write it down. Everybody do that. By the end of the week, I challenge you to know your commitment, why you're here, and what you're going to do to get where you want to go. And secondly, who's going to be your running buddy? Who's going to be that person you lean on to not be your friend, right? To pick you up when you've fallen, to keep you going when you need to keep running, and to hold you accountable for everything that you want, not for what they want, but for what you want. Give that permission and have that name by the end of the week. And promise you will lean on that mentor. Whether it's Jeremy Whitaker and you think, God, he'll never answer my call. Yes, he will. Brad Smith. Yes, he does. I lean on him every week. They are amazing individuals. Find those people that you resonate with and lean on them because they're going to take you exactly where you want to go. Jeremy,
So good.
thank you so much.
Thank you. And you know, when you started talking and you mentioned, yeah, you're gonna fail, right? Like it's scary sometimes. Yeah. I mean, like I get reminded all the time because I think a lot of times, you know, it's human to think that failure, it has to be the opposite of success, right? Like it has to be. But the truth is it's not. It's a part of success, right? I know I can't get to success without the failure. there's this little lion behind me that Wendy bought me, her and Kate Ware, about 3 or 4 months ago. And it says, it's not over when you lose. It's over. It's over when you quit, right? That's when it's over. At the end of the day, I'm so glad I didn't quit. So glad I didn't quit on myself. So glad I didn't quit on my family. So glad that I ended up being able to find a few people whose will to win outweighed all the other reasons why the other people wouldn't win, why they chose not to win, right? And so I'm going to ask, just who's going to choose today that we are going to be the people who will. We're going to be the people who will, even in the midst of challenges. We're going to be the people who win, even when it gets tough, even when we get hung up on, even when people quit on us. We're going to be the ones that win, even like if you're like Wendy and battling pneumonia and COVID and doing $20,000 in production at the same time. We choose to win. See, we used to call ourselves Team No Sleep, right? We used to rep it like that, Tina, and it was good for a period, but we started to sleep. And guess what? Last year we had a record-breaking year, and we started to sleep. I guess that wasn't the difference. It wasn't that we weren't sleeping. I guess the difference is, you know what? We should just call ourselves the team that will, right? The team that will. And I know there's a lot of other people on this webinar who can be a part of the company that will, right? You're that little engine that can, right? You are the person who will. This is what we came for, right? It wasn't so that we could do something and teach you all these new magical things, but we came to inspire you to move, to increase your will, right? Your will to get through your circumstances, your will. I know you're starting off without nothing. I know that's happening. I know that you feel like, man, this is all new. How am I ever going to figure this out? I know what that feels like. I know that it feels like, man, I have never been successful before. And every single time I get so close and then something happens, I want you to remember your will, not mine, your will. That makes the difference. Your will, right? What will you do? What will you do? Peace out, Symmetry Nation. You guys kick butt.